Welcome, Peter here. These are all the motorcycles I've owned since the age of 18 in 1977 through to 65 years old in 2025. First bike I bought, never having ridden a motorbike before, was in Mount Tom Price in the Pilbara of Western Australia, and it was a fairly rough XL350 Honda. It was a pretty good bike, but it just had never been looked after. And unfortunately, I don't have photos of any of my early bikes, so I've just downloaded photos of the correct models off the internet. I then bought a brand new XT500 Yamaha, which was a brilliant bike. Wish I hadn't sold it. While I had that, I bought a Suzuki 550 two-stroke triple, and I wrote that off after about a week due to inexperience and stupidity. I then got an RD 400 two-stroke twin after selling my 500. Great little road bike, small, light and versatile. I also had during this time an old 250 motocrosser. I also got an old 750 K2 Honda, and that was pretty rough and it was just a bit of a project. Then bought a really cheap Yamaha 650 and I was just forever working on it. Few years passed and I bought a Suzuki 850, quite a big heavy bike. It was sort of okay, but nothing too special, I don't think. Sold that, and then after quite a few more years, I got back into bikes with an old rough ex-police bike, Yamaha 750. From there, I bought a brand new Moto Guzzi 1100 EV Touring, 2006 model. I really liked this bike. It handled well, went well. It was sort of had a lot of character. It's one of the bikes that I regret selling. Just really liked the look of it, and it was a great bike. I bought my wife a Yamaha Virago 250 to learn to ride on, and that was quite a good little bike, a little bit underpowered. I then sold all that and bought a BMW K100, and it was old and very tired. I then bought a V-Strom DL1000, brand new, and this was a great touring bike, but way too heavy for me off-road, but great for a commuter or for an on-road tourer. Sold that, a couple of years passed, and I bought a old CX500 Honda. Wasn't running, got it running and registered. It was just an entry back into bikes. Also bought a FJ 1200, very heavy. Mine was pretty worn out, didn't like it. Also had a tiny 250 Honda for a little while. I then got Yamaha Phaser FZ6S, great bike, done a lot of miles, 95,000, went well. We also had a XT250 at this point, just an old cheap trail bike. A couple more years passed and then I bought a Suzuki Boulevard 800 off my brother. Quite a nice bike, but a bit heavy and not really my style. A bit slow as well. I then bought a BMW R1200 RT ex-police bike, 2012 model, and this was a brilliant bike. Fantastic commuter, touring bike for all weather. I rode it to work every day for about 3 years, rain, hail or shine, and loved this bike. As you can see, I did a bit of work on it. Quite complicated and expensive to fix. I bought a Moto Guzzi 1100 because I like my other one so much, but this one had been modified and wasn't much good. My brother gave me an old scooter that wasn't running or registered. I got that running and registered, and that got me into scooters for just doing shopping. I then got interested in adventure type dual sport bikes after watching Long Way Round and bought an old BMW GS 650, done about 100,000 kilometers, but still remarkably good bike. As you can see, some of my bikes in the garage there. The 650, the BMW and the Moto Guzzi all together. I sold my scooter, the one I got off my brother, and wanted something to go shopping with because I found them quite convenient. Bought a little 50cc moped, but it was just too small and slow. So then I bought a Piaggio X8, again off my brother, as he upgraded, and it was quite a good little bike. And then he upgraded again, So I bought His Majesty Yamaha 400 off him, which was quite good. But then he upgraded again, and I bought a Silverwing 600 off him, which was a awesome scooter, 2-cylinder, very quick, simple to work on, and reliable Honda. I then bought a sidecar and a Honda 750 from separate buyers, and I put them together, got it registered just to have a bit of fun and see what it was like. I realised I don't like riding sidecars, too much like hard work, and I eventually sold it. But that was a good experience, and I think it turned out looking quite good. In the beginning of 2020, just during COVID, sold my 1200 BMW, and I bought a DR650 2004 model, I think it was, done over 105,000 kilometres, sight unseen. It was a good bike and I really liked it, but wanted something a little bit newer, so I bought a 2017 DR650 with a few extras on it, with only 6,000 Ks, and that was a great bike. My son bought the DR650 off me, and we did a couple of trips away on it. While I had that, we got a old WR400. It was in bits. It was cheap, obviously. Put that back together so my other son could come riding with us. Sold that, and I bought a KLX 400, same as the DRZ 400. That was a good bike. My son Chris bought it off me. I then got into trials riding because I wanted to learn some skills, and bought an old trials bike, a Beta 270. It was good and it got us into the trials riding. I then bought a old Yamaha TY 175, so Chris could come riding with me, and there it is there. We had great fun with those two old bikes, both very cheap. I then bought another old trials bike, a Gas JTR 270 for Chris, and then upgraded for myself a Gas 250, but I needed an electric start, so I bought a TRS 250 electric start, brand new. Chris bought the 250 Gas off me. I bought a little BRZ Kawasaki 250 just as a bit of a fun project, but it was going to be too hard to get it registered, so I sold it fairly quickly. Middle of 2022, sold my DR650 and bought a V-Strom 650, thinking I was going to use it to commute on, but didn't end up doing that. So I ended up selling it fairly quickly and going back to something a bit easier to handle off-road, and got a Himalayan 411, a 2020 model, so Euro 4. And I really liked this bike. It was a little bit slow on the highway, but very forgiving and user-friendly off-road. Had a long stroke, torquey motor, could tractor through most things, and I quite like the look of them. I thought they had a bit of character about them. And that's another bike I'm sorry I sold. Chris bought one off my brother, which was almost identical, just a couple of years newer, and we used to go riding together. I foolishly sold it and bought a Honda CRF 300 Rally because I thought it would be lighter and more reliable. I actually had, after having the CRF about a year and doing about 7,000 kilometres on it, I had engine problems, which was fixed under warranty, but I sort of lost faith in it. The CRF was about the same speed as the Himalayan, wouldn't cruise much above highway speed and not very good for long distance road touring. So I bought a Honda ST 1100, an old one, just to have two bikes, one for on the road and one for going off-road. But I realised that I really wanted one bike that did both. So I bought my Transalp XL 750. Bought the Transalp brand new, and so far I think it's the best compromise for what I do, which is mainly on the road, either commuting or touring, and a bit of exploring down gravel, unsealed roads and forestry tracks and the like when I go camping. I love it. It's great. It's not too heavy, 208 kilos wet on the showroom floor, 21-inch front wheel, goes really well, very comfortable. I've also bought another scooter. This one is a Honda 250. It's an older one. It was quite cheap, and this was a fantastic scooter. I've actually sold it now because I wanted to try something a little bit different. I bought a Royal Enfield Classic 500 because I just felt I wanted something that sort of had the classic look. I didn't keep it that long because I realised that I can't ride 3 bikes. It just wasn't suited for what I wanted to do. Lovely bike, really looks the part. So I sold that on. I bought an old postie bike as a bit of a project. It was a real field find and just something to muck about with. And I wanted to find out what the attraction to them is. They seem to have a bit of a cult following, see what everyone seems to like about them. This one's going to take a while to fix. So in the meantime, I bought a newer one, a fuel injected Super Cub X-Postie bike. It's registered and running, and I'm using that to replace the scooter. Put a top box on the back, and I just use that to run up to the shops. It's nice and small and light, easy to put in the back of the van. So I'm down to 3 bikes now. The Transalp, which is obviously my main bike, which is the all-round bike for commuting, touring, camping, and exploring on. The Postie bike for putting in the back of the van, shopping, and just sort of running around, and then the old one just as a project. If there are any questions or about any of the particular bikes, or you'd like more information about them, please leave a comment. I'll try to reply to them. Yeah, this is just my journey and just thoughts on my bikes. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.